Say Selenium Class 3 Introduction to Selenium. In this chapter, nearly 10 topics. First topic, Selenium Introduction. Introduction to Selenium. Next, history of the Selenium project. History of the Selenium project. Next, Selenium components are Selenium's tool suite. Selenium's tool suite or Selenium components. Next, small topic, Selenium license. Next, testing frameworks and other tools used in Selenium. Next, platforms are just a minute. Fourth one, just a minute. Platforms supported by Selenium. Ritesh, just a minute. Next, seventh one, Selenium environment setup. Supriya?
Yes, sir.
Okay, cool. Advantage of Selenium. Next, disadvantages of Selenium. Next, last one, Selenium versus UFT. Unified Functional Testing, formerly Quick Test Professional, QTP. See, this is the chapter index. Yesterday we discussed first topic. Okay, na Madhavi? Yesterday we discussed the first topic, na Selenium introduction.
Yes, sir.
In that chapter.
Yes, sir.
Okay, cool. In that chapter we discussed nearly six points. Okay. Next, come to next topic, history of the Selenium project. See, small topic. History of the Selenium project. See, Selenium first came to life in 2004. See, I will provide brief history, theoretical approach. Selenium first came to life in 2004. QTP released, first version released in 2002. Selenium 2004. Okay, Selenium also 11 years completed. This is 12th year. In 2006, important year. In 2006, Selenium WebDriver was launched at Google. Next, in 2008, the whole Selenium team decided to merge Selenium WebDriver with Selenium RC in order to form more powerful tool called Selenium 2. In Selenium 1, Selenium IDE, Selenium RC, and Selenium Grid. Three tools. In Selenium 2, Selenium 2 means Selenium 1 plus WebDriver. Selenium IDE, Selenium RC, Selenium WebDriver, and Selenium Grid. Observe the points. First one, Selenium first came to life in 2004. Next, in 2006, Selenium WebDriver, powerful tool in Selenium suite. Selenium WebDriver was launched at Google. Next, in the year 2008, the whole Selenium team decided to merge Selenium WebDriver with Selenium RC remote control in order to form more powerful tool called Selenium 2. Say Selenium 1, Selenium 2, and every tool having own versions. This is a suite version. Selenium 1. In Selenium 1 we have three tools. Selenium IDE, Integrated Development Environment, plus only understanding purpose. Next, Selenium RC. Next, Selenium Grid. Next, Selenium 2. This is suite version. Selenium 2 means Selenium 1 plus Selenium WebDriver. Now in Selenium 2, four tools. Selenium IDE. Next, Selenium RC. Next, Selenium WebDriver. Next, Selenium Grid. See, observe, Madhavi, observe Selenium WebDriver, successor of Selenium RC. Now, nowadays Selenium RC outdated. Successor of Selenium RC is Selenium WebDriver. But why they are continuing the Selenium RC in Selenium 2? Just guess. If you want to use Selenium WebDriver, if we use Selenium WebDriver, then you no need to use Selenium RC. Actually it is outdated. Then why they are carrying Selenium RC in Selenium 2?
Maybe there are some additional functions which WebDriver doesn't have.
No. How can you use additional functionals? Additional functions. You have to use either Selenium RC or Selenium WebDriver. Anyhow, Selenium RC outdated. Dilpreet, can you guess why they are continuing Selenium RC?
Is it
Selenium
because
RC
Selenium
outdated.
RC?
If we use Selenium
Is
WebDriver,
it
no need to use Selenium RC.
is it because Selenium RC can be used on servers?
Servers, then what is the problem? Okay. See, still they are carrying Selenium RC only for maintenance projects. See, earlier some projects used Selenium RC na. Why nobody responding?
Yes, sir.
Some projects
Yes, sir.
used Selenium RC. For maintenance projects, they are carrying Selenium RC. For new projects, nobody using Selenium RC, only Selenium WebDriver. Okay, na Madhavi?
Okay.
Getting this point?
Yes, sir.
See, only for maintenance projects. Maintenance projects. See, note. Somebody is making nice. Put mute. Selenium RC. Just a minute. Now, Selenium RC is only for maintenance projects. Okay na Saloni? Brief history about Selenium project. Saloni,
Yes, sir.
tell me 3 important years.
Yeah. Selenium was launched in 2004. It was called Selenium 1. Again, in 2006, WebDriver was launched by Google. And in 2008, the WebDriver and the RC was merged to call Selenium 2.
Good. Now, still that Selenium RC available in Selenium 2 for maintenance projects. Okay na?
Yes.
See, Mrinal, any queries regarding this topic?
No, sir.
Okay.
It's clear.
Come to next topic. Next topic. Selenium's tool suite. Selenium's tools suite. Just a minute. Selenium's. Selenium's tool suite are Selenium components. See, we have 4 tools in Selenium suite, or you can say Selenium components. 4 Selenium components. What are they? First one, list out Supriya. Selenium components are Selenium suite of tools. Supriya. Ritesh. Ritesh.
Yes, sir. Selenium IDE.
Good. Selenium IDE, Integrated Development Environment. Integrated. Just a minute. Integrated Development Environment. This is Selenium IDE. Next.
Selenium WebDriver or
Selenium
Selenium
RC sequence.
Yeah.
Selenium RC. RC stands for remote control. Remote control. Next.
Selenium WebDriver.
Yes, Selenium WebDriver. Selenium WebDriver. Next, last one.
Selenium Grid.
Selenium Grid. Selenium Grid. Okay, first I am taking Selenium IDE. See, I will provide brief introduction about Selenium IDE and other Selenium tools. Anyhow, we will discuss in detailed manner in future chapters. Just a brief introduction. Selenium IDE. IDE stands for Integrated Environment. First, what is Selenium IDE? It is a Firefox browser add-on. See, it is a Firefox browser. Firefox browser add-on. See, works only on a Firefox browser. Used to create and execute test cases. Say in UFT, formerly QTP, term is test or test script. No test case term in QTP. Test or test script. In Selenium, test case term is test case, as like manual testing, or you can say test script. Synonyms. See, in Selenium, you can call test cases or test scripts. Okay. Say Selenium IDE features. Selenium IDE features. What are the important IDE features? Create test cases and test suites, means test batches. Create test cases and test suites. See how we create test cases in Selenium IDE. We can record test cases or type test steps using element locators and Selenium commands. Selenium IDE commands are called as Selenium commands. See, if you know the syntax, you can type the test steps or you can record the navigation. While recording, it generates test steps. Selenium IDE generates test steps. See, we can record test cases or type test steps using element locators. Element means object. Element locators are used to identify the object. Element locators and Selenium commands. Selenium, it's not dictionary word. Selenium commands. See, Selenium IDE commands are called as Selenium commands. Selenium IDE commands. Selenium commands are Selenium IDE commands. See, somebody's making noise. Avoid that one. Suleiman. Suleiman. Did you join Suleiman? Who is that Android attendee? Suleiman. Okay. People not responding properly. Next.
Yeah, I'm joining now.
Okay, Suleiman. Okay. See, create test cases and test suits. Next, edit. Edit test cases. Next, just a minute. Edit test cases. Next, execute test cases. See, these are the features of Selenium IDE. Execute test cases and test suits. Test suits. Next, debug. Debug test cases. See, by step execution, we can debug test cases in order to locate errors. See, in order to locate errors, we debug tests. By through step execution, we can debug test cases. Next, enhance test cases by inserting comments, by adding comments, by inserting verification points. You can enhance test cases. Next, export test cases to other formats. See, Selenium IDE test case default format is HTML. You can export test cases to other formats, Java, Ruby, etc., supporting formats, but that feature is not working properly. Feature is there, purpose also there, but not working properly. Anyhow, in real time, we don't use Selenium IDE, just idea. See, export test cases to other formats, other supported formats. For example, Java, Ruby, etc. Next, default format. Observe, Suleiman, what is the default format of Selenium IDE test case? Selenium IDE test case. Default format.
What format? I don't know.
Just now I mentioned. Can you tell me, Ritesh? Ritesh.
Java, sir.
Just now I mentioned. Mrinal, default format of
HTML.
HTML. See, HTML. Concentrate, Ritesh, concentrate. See, these are the important features of Selenium IDE. Madhavi, tell me, Madhavi, what are the important features of Selenium IDE tool?
Create test cases and test suits. Edit test cases. Execute test cases and test suits. Debug test cases. Enhance test cases. Export test cases, which is default is HTML.
Yes. Next, drawbacks of Selenium IDE. Drawbacks of Selenium IDE. Dilpreet, guess drawbacks of Selenium IDE, one or two drawbacks.
We cannot do data-driven testing with Selenium IDE.
Okay.
And
cannot do data-driven testing. Okay, any other? You observe the first point. Just a minute. You observe the first point. It is a Firefox
It is a
browser
Firefox
add-on.
browser add-on.
See,
So we can, yeah,
it works only on
Firefox browser.
Firefox browser. Observe, Selenium IDE is not an independent tool like UFT or RFT or Silk test. It is not an independent tool. What is independent tool? For example, UFT. You can download UFT and install, and then you can launch UFT tool, create tests and execute tests. But Selenium IDE is not an independent tool. If you want to launch or install Selenium IDE, first launch Mozilla Firefox browser, then download and install. For launching Selenium IDE also, first you have to launch Firefox browser, then you can launch Selenium IDE. Means you cannot use Selenium IDE without Firefox browser. Getting this point, Saloni?
Yes, sir.
We cannot use Selenium IDE without Firefox browser. If it is UFT or RFT or Silk test, you can use them individually. But it is Firefox plugin. Here you can find one drawback. It doesn't support other browsers. It works only on Firefox browser. Firefox browser doesn't support other browsers. This is one major drawback. Next, somebody told na, Dilpreet, you told na?
Yes, sir. Data-driven testing cannot be performed with Selenium IDE.
Why?
Because it's record and play, so you'll be only having one data at that time.
Say for data-driven testing, resource is required. In this scenario, resource means test data file. If you want to work with data files, programming features required. See here, no programming. Selenium IDE doesn't support any programming. Observe, it doesn't support programming. See, it doesn't support any programming. So we cannot use programming logic to enhance test cases. So we can't use programming logic to enhance test cases. Next, it doesn't support data-driven testing. It doesn't support data-driven testing. Why? For data-driven testing, resource required. Test data file is resource in this scenario. We cannot communicate with any files. If it is Selenium WebDriver can communicate with external files and databases with the help of Java. But Selenium IDE doesn't communicate with any files. So data-driven testing is not possible. Next, It is just a prototyping tool. It is not suitable for complex test case design. It is not suitable. It is not suitable for complex test case design. Why? No programming logic. Next, here, no centralized maintenance of objects. If it is UFT, formerly QTP, object repository concept is there. Object repository feature is there. Shared repositories, local repositories. By using shared object repositories, we can maintain objects information in a centralized location. But here, no repository concept. So, no centralized maintenance, no centralized maintenance of elements of our objects. See, these are the major drawbacks of Selenium IDE. Tell me, Madhumati, drawbacks of Selenium IDE tool. Madhumati. Madhumati, can you hear me? Supriya.
Yes, sir.
Drawbacks of Selenium IDE.
It supports only Firefox browser
Yes,
only.
it supports only Firefox browser. Next.
No programming support.
Yes, no programming support, so we cannot use programming features to enhance test cases. Next.
It doesn't support data-driven testing.
Yes. Next.
It is a prototype tool.
It is a
so
prototype tool.
it cannot use for
It is not used for
test
it is not suitable for complex test case design. It is only for simple test case design. Next. No centralized maintenance of elements or objects. Okay, na Saloni? Saloni, can you hear me?
Yes, sir, I can hear you.
Okay. Next, we no need to discuss this one. Selenium RC. It is outdated. Nobody is using nowadays. Say, Selenium RC supports programming. You can use Java, C#, Python, Perl, Ruby, etc. Selenium RC supports various browsers, various operating environments like MS, Windows, Linux, etc. But nowadays it is outdated. Successor of Selenium RC is Selenium WebDriver. You disconnect and connect again, Madhavi, Madhumati, not Madhavi. Selenium WebDriver. See, Selenium RC having features like almost all Selenium WebDriver. See, come to this one. Selenium WebDriver. Selenium WebDriver. Powerful tool in Selenium suite. Or you can say it is powerful component of Selenium. Powerful tool in Selenium suite. Okay. Using Selenium WebDriver tool only, you can automate your entire project. See, what is Selenium WebDriver? It is a programming interface to create and execute test cases. It doesn't have any IDE. See, anyhow, it is just an introduction chapter. In Selenium WebDriver chapter, We will discuss all features and drawbacks and practical concepts also. Here only brief introduction, just restrict to brief introduction. Again we will discuss Selenium feature, WebDriver features and drawbacks and environment setup and practical concepts, means creating and executing test cases. Okay, here only brief introduction. See, it is a programming interface. It is a programming interface to create and execute test cases. It is a programming interface to create and execute test cases. It doesn't have any IDE, only editor for writing programs. For example, Selenium IDE. IDE has IDE. What is IDE? Integrated Development Environment. Selenium IDE has menus and menu items. But in Selenium WebDriver, no menus, no menu items, no tool features, recording or checkpoints or any other, no tool features. It is only programming interface. For each and everything, we need to write the code. Just a minute. Programming interface is powerful than IDE. Suppose if we have IDE apart from programming interface, that is an added advantage. But without IDE also we can perform all testing tasks using programming interface. But using IDE we can't perform all testing tasks. Programming interface is powerful. IDE, that is ready-made environment. Observe, Selenium IDE has IDE, integrated development environment only, but no programming interface. Next, Selenium WebDriver has programming interface only. But no IDE, no menus, no menu items, but no IDE. Next, UFT, another tool, market competitor, formerly QTP. Can you tell me, Mrinal, UFT, what about UFT? UFT has programming interface or integrated development environment, IDE?
It has ID.
Both IDE
It has I.
as well as programming interface. You can use VB script code now.
Yes.
Yes, UFT, formerly QTP, has both IDE as well as programming interface. For example, if you want to create tests in UFT, you can use UFT tool features like recording, checkpoints, etc. Otherwise, you can directly use a descriptive code. You can type descriptive script. Next, instead of checkpoints, you can use VB script conditional statements. Suppose if you want to conduct data driven testing in UFT, UFT has an integrated spreadsheet data table for data driven testing. You can use that tool feature, or you can use VB script feature. You can import test data from external files using VB script and connect. Say in UFT, you can use either tool features or programming features, or both, some tool features and some programming features to create tests. But in Selenium WebDriver, no tool features, only programming features. In Selenium IDE, no programming features support, only tool features. Getting this point, Madhavi?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Next, but I already mentioned, using programming features, you can perform all types of testing tasks. But creating test cases takes some time, some difficulty also, but you can perform any operation using programming features. Okay. Generally, IDE means that is ready-made environment. Ready-made environments have limitations, but programming logic doesn't have any limitation. Okay. Next, already we discussed Selenium IDE, no programming support. No, Selenium IDE doesn't support any programming, but Selenium WebDriver supports various programming languages to write programs. Say, Selenium WebDriver. Selenium WebDriver supports various programming languages, various programming environments to write programs. Here programs means test scripts. See, in this scenario, program means test script. You know, Selenium WebDriver supporting programming languages. Suleiman, what are the programming languages that Selenium WebDriver supports?
We have
Suleiman.
we have C Sharp,
Ah.
we have Perl,
Ah.
Ruby,
Java.
Yeah.
Okay. See, first Java. Why most of the Selenium testers using Java? Nearly 77%. Okay, no sequence. Java. It supports Java. Next, .NET. In .NET, C#, .NET. Not VB.NET, ASP.NET. C#, .NET. .NET is suite of technologies. In .NET suite, C# is the one of the technology. C#, next, Python, next, Perl, next, Ruby, and PHP, Hypertext Preprocessor, PHP. See, you can use any one of the languages. Most of the Selenium testers using Java. Next, Selenium WebDriver supports various browsers. Selenium WebDriver supports various browsers. Observe, Madhavi, what is the default browser of Selenium? Default browser. Firefox. Okay. Why Firefox is default browser? That I will explain in practical chapter. Just remember, Firefox is default browser of Selenium. See, it supports Mozilla. Just a minute. Mozilla Firefox, It supports all popular browsers. Next, Google Chrome. Next, Internet Explorer. Next, Safari, Opera, etc. Next, Selenium WebDriver supports various operating environments. Operating environments. Operating environments. See, popular operating environments. Microsoft Windows. Next, Linux. Next, Mac, Macintosh, etc. Whereas UFT, formerly QTP, supports Microsoft Windows operating environment only. It doesn't support other environments, other operating environments. Next, how we write test cases in Selenium WebDriver. Say, using element locators. Element locators. See, element means object. For example, edit box, link, button, radio button, checkbox, combo box, frame, web table, etc. Locator, suppose edit box is element, id of element, id of edit box is locator. For example, observe here three things. Just a minute, I will explain. Using element locators and WebDriver commands. WebDriver commands, or you can say methods. WebDriver commands or methods we can create test cases. Element, next another name, object, software object. Locator, next locator in UFT, no locator term, property. It is an attribute of the object which describes the object. Next, value. For example, edit box. Just a minute. Edit box is element or button is element. Button is element. Locator. See, it supports 8 element locators. We can use any one unique locator. Anyhow, that we will discuss in practical chapters. Just a minute. See, observe. Here one button is there. Next button is there. Next button. See, place mouse pointer and right click. Inspect. Where is that one? Page inspector. Just a minute. Inspect element. See, place mouse pointer on web page and right click. Inspect element. See, take the pointer and show the button. Observe Saloni. ID. What is the ID value? Observe left side bottom, blue color marking.
Next.
Next. This ID is locator. Next is
Property.
value. ID is property only.
Okay, yeah.
Locator or property. Next is value, isn't it?
Yes.
Next, I will show one more example. Observe. Suppose edit box is there. Enter your email. Edit box is there. Say I am using another inspector. This is a FirePath. This is also Mozilla plugin, or you can say add-on. Take mouse pointer. Observe here ID email. ID email. Otherwise, you can use name also. Name also one of the locator. Name value. Value of the name. What is the name value, Saloni? Email. Email. See, observe. Edit box. Edit box. Suppose name is the locator. Value is email. Did you understand the concept, Madhavi? Element, locator, and value.
Yes, sir.
Okay. See, in general orientation, suppose man is or dog. Dog is element. General example. Suppose locator. Suppose height of the dog is one property. Suppose 30 centimeters is the value. You can use any one unique. Suppose color of the dog. Suppose white. White is value. Suppose man is object or element. Name is property or locator. Name. Some ABCD. ABCD is the value. See, for man object, name is one locator. Surname, height, weight, width, color, etc. Okay. This is about element, locator, and value. Next, say element locators, using element locators and WebDriver commands. What is the use of WebDriver commands? To perform operations on elements. Suppose we are recognizing the edit box element using name locator value. Name locator value email. Okay, element locator for recognizing or identifying the object. Next, performing operation. Suppose enter a value into edit box. That is the responsibility of WebDriver command or method. Getting the point, Mrinal?
Yes, sir.
What is the purpose of element locator?
To identify the element.
Next, WebDriver in this scenario. WebDriver command or method. What is the purpose?
To perform the operation on the element.
Yes. See, to identify or recognize the element. Next, to perform operation on the element. Suppose here element operation. Observe, Ritesh, element versus operation. Earlier, element locator. Here, element is edit box. What is the primary operation on edit box?
Input text.
Enter a value or input data. Enter value. Say entering a value. This is primary operation on edit box. Say functional test automation tools are object-based tools. For example, Selenium or UFT, you take any functional and regression test tool. They conduct test operations based on front-end objects. Okay, some exemptions are there. For database testing, no front-end object reference required. Using SQL, we can communicate with back-end databases. For database testing, no front-end object reference is required. But for remaining operations, front-end object is required. See, you take any functional and regression test tool. They are object-based test tools. Suppose performance test tool, load runner, etc. Performance test tools are protocol-based test tools. Protocol-based. For example, HTTP, HTTPS, ODBC, JDBC, etc. protocols. See, functional test tools, object-based test tools, performance test tools, protocol-based test tools. For example, test management tools or defect management tools. Tell me, Mamata, what is the base for test management tools?
Sir,
Functional test tools, object-based tools, just idea, general idea. Performance test tools, protocol-based.
okay.
Test management tools,
To maintain the all business requirements
I
and the
am
functional
asking base,
requirements.
not purpose or functionality. What is the base? Functional testing, functional test tools, object-based test tools. Based on front-end objects, they conduct test operations. Performance test tools, protocol-based. Dilpreet, for test management tools and defect management tools, what is the base? No base. See, functional test tools execute the application. Performance test tools execute the application. But test management tools won't execute the application. Isn't it?
Yes, sir.
See, test management tools and defect management tools only for documentation and for generating reports. They don't interact with software applications, but functional test tools and performance test tools interact with software
Application.
applications. Okay na?
Yes, sir.
Okay, edit box, entering a value. Continue, Ritesh. Suppose button. What is the primary operation on button?
Click.
Click.
Click or double click.
Okay. Next, primary operation on link. Secondary operations are there that we will discuss in elements handling chapter. Just a brief idea. Link also click.
Click.
Next, actually here button click, but operation name is submit. Okay. Next, Madhavi. Checkbox.
Select.
Select. Select. If already selected, unselect. Next, if it is drop down box, Mrinal, drop down box.
Select.
Select an item.
Yeah, select.
Select an item. Okay. See, using element locators and WebDriver commands or methods, we create test cases in Selenium WebDriver. Selenium WebDriver.
Sir, I have a question. Like, if you are using, there are so many buttons on the one page that you are testing, then the element locator should be unique. on which you want to use.
Yes.
Right? Okay, so we have to check the properties of each button
Yes,
and
we need to
find
first
out
we need
the.
to inspect the elements and take unique locator for every element.
Okay.
Okay, that we will discuss in practical chapters. Selenium WebDriver, creating test cases in Selenium WebDriver. First we have to inspect the elements and take unique locator. Suppose if IDs are duplicate, names are duplicate, all locators are duplicate, then you take X path, that is XY coordinates, that object location. See, object location most of the time unique na. Suppose two buttons with same names, with same size, same properties, but locations different na.
Yes, sir.
Okay, anyhow, it's not time to discuss that concept. In Selenium WebDriver practical chapter, we will discuss. We have to take unique locator, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Any query? Why you are in dull mood? Tell me.
No, I understand, sir.
Okay, cool,
I
cool.
got it. Yeah. Thank
Okay.
you.
Say next, drawbacks. Drawbacks of Selenium WebDriver. Drawbacks of Selenium WebDriver. See, we discussed the advantages or features of Selenium WebDriver. It supports various operating environments. WebDriver supports various browser environments. WebDriver supports various programming environments to write test cases. Next, some drawbacks also. Can you tell me one or two drawbacks, Saloni? Drawbacks of Selenium WebDriver? Just guess, otherwise I will explain.
No ID features.
Good. First one, no Selenium IDE, Selenium WebDriver. Selenium WebDriver has no integrated development environment. What is the problem of this one? Suppose it doesn't have IDE, then what is the problem? Tell me, Saloni, what is the problem? Okay, it doesn't have IDE, then what is the problem? You can
Like we can't create.
We can
we can't record or type test cases or edit test cases if it doesn't have.
We can conduct all operations using programming interface, but time taking process. No IDE. If it is tool features are easy to use. Programming features difficult to use. So creating test cases. Creating test cases is some difficult, not much, and takes more time. This is one drawback. Next, Mamata. Okay. Here, one major drawback of Selenium WebDriver, it doesn't have any built-in result reporting facility. If it is UFT, formerly QTP, UFT has, Mamata put mute, UFT has result reporting facility. Result viewer feature is there in UFT. Result viewer. UFT provides test result for every test iteration. Test iteration means cycle of execution. Suppose one test is there. If you execute the test for 4 times, 4 test results. UFT provides test result for every test iteration. And one more thing, user can define own result in UFT using VB script features. UFT has built-in feature. Otherwise, you can define your own result. Okay. But Selenium WebDriver doesn't have any result reporting facility. Then how to report, how to create test reports? Okay. Using either JUnit or TestNG frameworks, we can overcome this drawback. That we will discuss later. Just observe the drawbacks. Selenium WebDriver, no result reporting, no built-in result reporting facility. Result reporting facility. This is one drawback. Next, it doesn't have an integrated spreadsheet for data-driven testing. If it is UFT, formerly QTP having integrated spreadsheet for data-related operations. It doesn't have an integrated spreadsheet. Just a minute. For data related operations. Here important one is data driven testing. See, these are the major drawbacks of Selenium WebDriver. And it is not readily support new versions of browser. Takes time. Latest versions. It is not readily support latest versions of browsers. Tell me, Suleiman, we discussed the Selenium WebDriver features. Brief introduction only. Selenium WebDriver features as well as drawbacks. First you tell me what are the important features of Selenium WebDriver?
First important feature is that Selenium WebDriver is a programming interface. So we can use programming languages to create tests and execute tests. And then Selenium WebDriver supports multiple browsers, like first with
Mozilla, Firefox, Google Chrome, IE, Safari, Opera, etc. Next.
Yes, and it supports multiple languages.
Like it supports various don't use multiple term. Multiple, okay. Oh, it supports various programming languages. We have to use any one of the language.
Yeah.
It supports various programming. It supports various operating environments. For example, Microsoft Windows, Linux, Macintosh, etc. Okay. Good. Next, Ritesh. Drawbacks of Selenium WebDriver.
It doesn't have the IDE, so it's difficult to write a test.
Yes, it doesn't have IDE. Means no tool features, only programming features. So it is difficult to write test cases and takes writing test cases takes more time. Next.
Yes. It doesn't have the built-in test.
Built-in result reporting. No built-in result reporting. Okay, na?
Yes.
Next,
No built-in.
no built-in
And
result reporting.
and
Next,
it it doesn't have a integrated spreadsheet for data-driven testing.
yes, it doesn't have an integrated spreadsheet for data-driven testing. Okay, okay, Namrenal. Selenium WebDriver features and drawbacks.
Yes.
Okay, next, one more tool, Selenium Grid. Selenium Grid. Actually, it is Selenium Grid not for test design. Selenium Grid doesn't support test design. It supports only test execution. Say Selenium Grid. Selenium Grid for parallel. Selenium Grid for parallel test execution. Okay. No test design. No test design in Selenium Grid. Only test execution in Selenium Grid. Say Selenium Grid executes test cases across multiple browsers, operating environments, and missions in parallel so that we can reduce the execution time. For example, we have 100 test cases. As per customer requirement, we have to execute all these 100 cases using Mozilla Firefox, Google Chrome, and IE. Say, suppose 100 test cases execution taking 10 hours. For Mozilla Firefox 10 hours, Google Chrome approximately 10 hours, IE also approximately 10 hours. Total 10 into 3, 30 hours. If we use Selenium Grade, in 10 hours only you can execute all these 100 test cases using 3 different browsers. You take 3 missions, you distribute the tests. First mission 100 test cases using Google Chrome, second mission 100 test cases using Mozilla Firefox, third mission same test cases using IE browser. What is the primary advantage of Selenium Grid, Saloni?
For parallel test
By
execution.
parallel test execution, we can reduce the test execution time now.
Yes.
We can distribute test cases so that we can reduce the execution time. See, Selenium Grid. Selenium Grid executes test cases across multiple browsers. Next, operating environments. And missions. Mission means computer in this scenario. Missions in parallel so that we can reduce the execution time. Otherwise, you can use Selenium WebDriver only for execution, no issue. And one more thing, here no test design. How to create test cases? You create test cases using Selenium WebDriver or Selenium RC. Selenium RC nowadays outdated. You create test cases using Selenium WebDriver and execute them in parallel using Selenium Grid. See, Selenium Grid 2.0 supports Selenium RC test cases Selenium RC test cases and Selenium WebDriver test cases. WebDriver test cases, but no Selenium IDE test cases. Selenium 1 supports only Selenium RC. After that, Selenium WebDriver merged. Then Selenium Grid 2 supports Selenium RC test cases and Selenium WebDriver test cases. See here, conclusion. Create test cases using Selenium WebDriver. If you want to execute test cases in parallel, use Selenium Grid for parallel test case execution. Otherwise, you can use Selenium WebDriver only for executing tests one by one. Okay. See, this is a brief introduction about Selenium suite of tools or Selenium components. And one more thing, yesterday only I told you focus on three things. Supriya, continue. Focus on, yesterday only explained, focus on three things. Test automation using Selenium. What are the three things? Just a minute. Test automation using Selenium. Continue, Supriya. Madhumati, can you hear me, Madhumati?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I'm Supriya, sir. Yes.
Supriya, continue.
Selenium WebDriver.
First, Selenium WebDriver. Selenium WebDriver.
WebDriver. To recognize
Selenium WebDriver. What is the purpose of Selenium WebDriver? Okay. To create test cases. To create test cases. To create and execute. To create and execute test cases using
identify
element locators and WebDriver
methods.
commands or methods, synonyms in this scenario only. But method is different, command is different in general orientation, but in this scenario, synonyms. Next, continues Supriya.
Java programming.
Yes, Java programming. Java programming. What is the purpose of Java programming in this scenario?
To enhance the test cases.
To enhance test cases. What is enhancing test cases? Enhancing test cases means, see, updating test cases is different. Enhancing test cases is different. Updating means, suppose any changes in requirements, generally we update test cases. But enhancing test cases is different. Enhancing test cases means inserting verification points, synchronization, parameterization if required, error handling, etc. with respect to test requirements. What is enhancing test cases? Inserting verification points. Next, parameterization if required. Say for every test case, verification point is mandatory, but parameterization optional. Only for some test cases, parameterization required. Next, synchronization. Synchronization also same. Only for some test cases, not for all test cases. But verification points for all test cases. Next, error handling. Next, adding comments, adding meaningful comments, etc. Okay, continue, Supriya. Next one.
TestNG, testing framework.
Yes, TestNG, testing framework, testing framework. What is the purpose
Group
of
test
TestNG
case,
framework in this scenario?
to group the test cases, execute the test batches.
Just a minute. To group, otherwise just a minute, important task, grouping test cases. Next, executing
The
test batches.
and generate test report.
Generate test reports. See, these are the important tasks. Next, this one. Parallel test execution also possible, but using single machine only. It creates different nodes. Parallel test execution, data driven testing,
So parallel test execution will happen without Selenium grid.
Yes, without Selenium grid. With Selenium, just I will explain. Who is asking that question?
Renal.
Just Mrinal. Just observe.
Okay.
Observe. You know what is parallel test execution? Parallel.
Yes.
Parallel test execution. Parallel test execution. Using Selenium grid. Here we use multiple missions. See, observe, I already told now multiple missions. See, multiple missions. Next, parallel test execution using, just a minute. Parallel test execution using Selenium WebDriver plus TestNG. TestNG using single mission. Suppose if you have high configured system, you can create multiple nodes. See, program will create by using multiple nodes. You can execute, but single mission.
Okay.
Here multiple missions. Find the difference between these two.
Yes, single
Which
machine.
one is better? Multiple machines better na? You can distribute load on multiple computers na?
Yes.
Okay, if it is simple parallel test execution, you can use WebDriver plus TestNG, but it uses single machine, creates multiple nodes internally. Suppose some test cases on node 1, some test cases on node 2, some test cases on node 3. But in Selenium grid, multiple missions. That is the difference.
Okay.
Okay. Say this is a brief introduction about Selenium components. Brief introduction. Any queries, Saloni? Shall we move to next topic?
Yes, sir.
See, just a minute. See, platform supported by, we already discussed this concept indirectly. See, I will provide a segregation. Platforms, just a minute. platforms supported by Selenium. Here I will take 4 different platforms. One is browsers, next operating systems, next programming languages, next application environments. Okay, these 4 we will discuss. First, come to browsers. You know, platforms supported by Selenium. Browsers. Tell me, Madhavi, browsers Selenium supports.
Firefox.
Say
Google.
Mozilla Firefox, Mozilla Firefox, next Google Chrome, next Internet Explorer, next
Safari,
Opera, etc. See, first 3 browsers are popular browsers having more than 90% of market share. Okay, this one okay, browsers. Here one small note. What about Selenium IDE? See, note. Selenium IDE, one of the tool of Selenium IDE supports Mozilla Firefox only. Firefox browser only. Remaining tools supports all browsers, all popular browsers. Remaining tools Selenium RC, Selenium WebDriver, Selenium Grid. Next, Mamata, operating systems. It supports all popular operating systems.
Windows.
Microsoft Windows.
Linux.
Linux. Next, Macintosh. Apple OS, etc. What about UFT, formerly QTP?
Windows only, sir.
Only Windows. Next, programming languages. Ritesh, already so many times we discussed. It supports Java.
Yes, sir. Java, Python,
C Sharp, Python,
Perl,
PHP,
and Ruby.
Whereas UFT supports
only VB
script. Next, application environments. Observe, say software. Nowadays, software can be used on different devices, not only computers. Say, observe, computer software and one more thing, mobile software. Observe Ritesh, for mobile software also testing required na?
Yes, sir.
Computer software, mobile software. Okay, we have different types of computer software, but as per environment, we can segregate them into three categories. Computer software. One is CUI based, command user interface, old applications. Only by using commands we can operate applications. Nowadays, these applications are almost all outdated. Below 3% only, 97%, more than 97%, either Windows-based applications or web-based applications. CUI-based, command user interface, CUI-based application. See, you have any idea about CUI-based application, Ritesh?
Sir, I think the Fox Pro.
Fox Pro is not command-based. See, using Fox Pro, you can create GUI-based application. Screens available. See, in internet, you can find some old calculators. Only using commands and input, you can operate. See, nowadays outdated CUI-based application means command user interface, no graphical user interface.
Okay.
Selenium supports command user interface applications?
No, sir.
No. Next, in GUI based two types. One is desktop applications. Desktop applications. Observe Ritesh, is Selenium support desktop applications?
No, sir.
No. Next, desktop application. For example, Notepad also desktop application. Notepad, desktop application. Next,
yes,
web applications. Yes. Next, what about UFT, formerly QTP? UFT supports desktop applications and web applications, na?
Yes, sir.
See. Next, come to mobile software. See, we have three categories of mobile applications. One is native applications. See, in Google Play Store, you can find native applications. Selenium doesn't support native applications. Next, web apps. Nowadays, for most of the companies and products, web apps available now, Ritesh?
Yes, sir.
Is Selenium supports web apps? Yes.
It's a mobile web, right?
Mobile web. Mobile web.
Yes, yes.
Next, one more category is there. Hybrid applications. Hybrid applications. No. See, final conclusion. Selenium supports computer web applications and mobile web applications. Getting the point, Mrinal?
Yes.
And in computer environment, can you tell me one hybrid application, Ritesh? Suppose, for example,
no
a desktop application. Just a minute. Calculator is there na? Is it is desktop application na?
Yes, sir.
It is desktop application. Next, suppose ICICI Bank, ICICI Bank.com. It is web application na?
Yes, sir.
Now, can you tell me one example for hybrid application, computer hybrid application? What about Skype? Skype is there now.
Yes.
Basically, Skype is a desktop application now. You can download and install, but it integrates with web now.
Yes, sir.
See, that is a hybrid application. Say, for user interface, it is desktop application only, but for business operations, it integrates with World Wide Web, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Say, this is about platform supported by Selenium. Mamata, any queries? We discussed four different platforms: browsers, operating systems, programming languages, and application environments.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
na?
Yeah, no queries.
Okay, cool.
Yes, sir.
Next, Selenium license. Small topic. Selenium license. Selenium license. Say, we already discussed Selenium is an open source software. It's an open source software. No license required. No license cost. Anybody can download and use Selenium with free of cost. Anybody can download and use Selenium. But what is Selenium license? Okay, even though Selenium is open source software, it has license. Some restrictions are there. Objective is there for Selenium license. Try to understand. All Selenium projects, for example, Selenium IDE 1 project, Selenium RC1 project, Selenium WebDriver 1 project, Selenium Grid 1 project. See, you can find Selenium projects in Selenium official website. What is Selenium official website, Saloni? What is the Selenium official website?
I don't know, sir.
You don't know. Madhavi, what is Selenium official website?
I think it's selenium.org or .com, sir.
Selenium HQ. Seleniumhq.org. See, you need to remember this one. www.seleniumhq.org. This is official site of Selenium. Here you can download Selenium tools and you can find documentation also. See Selenium. Here projects tab is there. Observe Ritesh. WebDriver 1 project, Grid 1 project, IDE 1 project, Remote Control 1 project. Na?
Yes, sir.
Dilpreet.
Yes, sir.
Observe the term Selenium projects. Next, from this seleniumhk.org only you can download Selenium latest software. See Selenium IDE, you can see from this site, you can download Selenium IDE, Selenium WebDriver, Selenium Grid, next browser drivers, next this one, language bindings, etc. Okay, now Madhavi, Selenium official website.
Seleniumhq.org, sir.
Yes, seleniumhq.org. Remember. Next, all Selenium projects released under the license of Apache 2. All Selenium projects released under the Apache 2. See, if anybody asks what is Selenium license, Apache 2. It has a license but free, no cost. What is the objective of Apache 2 license? Observe these points. Anybody can download, see, anybody can download and use all Selenium components or projects, all Selenium components with free of cost, all can be downloaded and used with free of cost. Then what is the objective of Apache 2 license? What is the objective of Selenium license? I will explain. Next, anybody can modify the source code. Anybody can modify the source code and distribute the source code. Observe Suleiman. Anybody can modify the source code if they have programming knowledge, isn't it?
Yes.
If it is vendor tool like UFT, source code not available, only vendor updates source code, isn't it?
Yeah.
Anybody can modify the source code and distribute the source code. Distribute means, suppose you can distribute this code to your friends or one company to another company. No issue. Next, what is the objective? Here observe. Selling modified code is not allowed. Selling modified code is not allowed. Observe Saloni. I downloaded Selenium WebDriver code, modified that code. I added some new features with my programming knowledge and then selling to another company. That is not allowed. It is not for commercial use. The primary objective of Apache 2 license is selling modified code is not allowed. You can download and use the code with free of cost. You can download and update the code and distribute the code, but no commercial use. Getting this point? What is the primary objective of Selenium license, Saloni?
Yeah, anybody can download and use all the Selenium components.
What is the restriction here?
Selling modified code is not.
Somebody telling. Continue.
Yes, selling modified code is not allowed.
Selling modified code is not allowed. But you can modify the code, but you only use. Getting this point?
Yes, sir.
You can modify the code and distribute the code. You can distribute the code to others, but no cost. You see, freely you can distribute that code to your friends or other companies, but selling is not allowed. Okay, na? This is the primary objective of Apache 2 license.
Yeah, got it.
Okay, cool. Say, Selenium license. Any queries, Madhavi? Selenium license?
No, sir, I'm good.
Okay. Next, testing frameworks and tool support, other tools used in Selenium. We'll discuss tomorrow. Today, I will introduce one more important topic: Selenium environment setup. Here, only theoretical approach. See, I will provide theoretical explanation only. In practical chapters, I will show how to download Selenium and how to configure. I will show practical, but here only theoretical explanation. You restrict to theoretical explanation. In practical chapters, I will show practical. See, Selenium environment setup. Selenium environment setup. See, it is only theoretical explanation. In practical chapters, I will show how to install or how to configure Selenium. Okay. See, before configuring Selenium, first choose Selenium tools and others for test automation. Test automation. For example, for my project, I selected Selenium WebDriver. See, I selected Selenium WebDriver. See, as per project management instructions or recommendations, I selected Selenium WebDriver to create and execute test cases. See, Selenium WebDriver to create and execute test cases. Next, Eclipse IDE. You know, Ritesh, what is Eclipse IDE?
It's using for Java programming.
Say Eclipse IDE. It is an integrated development environment for creating and executing computer programs. Not only Java. See, you can create and execute Perl programs, Python programs, Ruby programs, etc. But in our scenario, we use Eclipse for Java. To create and execute Java programs, we use Eclipse editor, IDE, integrated development environment. Other IDEs also available, for example, NetBeans, but Eclipse IDE is powerful IDE and easy to use also. Say nowadays most of the companies using 99% using Eclipse IDE only. See, Eclipse IDE to create and execute programs. Next, Java. Java as programming language. As programming language. Java as programming language. Next, just a minute. TestNG. TestNG testing framework. As test runner. Next, browser drivers. to execute test cases, using different browsers. See, etc. See, I selected these Selenium tools and others. Okay, na, Madhavi?
Yes, sir.
Next, configure Selenium. Only theoretical steps. In practical chapter, you can get more clarity. I will show how to configure. Here only just providing brief idea. Configure Selenium. First selecting Selenium tools and others. Next configure Selenium. Okay. Say first download Eclipse IDE and extract. No need to install, just extract. See, after downloading you can get zip folder, just extract. See, this Eclipse IDE also open source software. It is also open source. You can use unlimited time. Observe, I downloaded and extracted Eclipse. Say, after extraction, you can get Eclipse folder. In this folder, Eclipse executable file is there. By clicking on this file, you can launch Eclipse IDE. No need to install, just download and extract. This one. Next, download Java software and install. Java also freeware, free software. See, in our Selenium, in our test automation using Selenium, we use all free softwares. Selenium WebDriver free, open source, Java open source, Eclipse IDE open source, TestNG also open source. See, download Java. Here particularly download JDK, Java Development Kit. Why JDK I will explain in practical chapter. Download Java software and install. You can download Java software from either java.com or oracle.com. Say now Java acquired by Oracle Corporation. See, Java was initially developed by Sun Microsystems, acquired by Oracle Corporation. You can download Java software from either java.com or oracle.com. I will show how to download and install in practical chapter. See, download Java software and install. Next, set environment variable. Set environment variable path. This variable name also path variable name also path. Set environment variable path. What is the purpose of setting environment variable? Have any idea, Madhumati? Have any idea? Why we need to set environment variable path? See, if you want to use Eclipse IDE, this environment variable path, setting environment variable path is optional. But if you want to use command line prompt for executing Java programs, this environment variable path is setting environment variable path is required. See, purpose is to access, or you can say to use Java software from any directory. From any directory. Getting this point, Ritesh?
Yes, sir.
Say here, observe CMD, CD program files. Just a minute. What is that directory name? Just a minute. C program file. Space is there. Just a minute. Program files. Before this, just a minute. Program files. See, observe. This is Java installation directory na, Ritesh?
Yes, sir.
Java installation directory. Suppose you can check, you can verify Java installation. Suppose Java compiler. Just I'm using one command. It is providing details na.
Yes.
Here you can execute Java programs. Suppose I want to execute Java programs from desktop. See, suppose CMD. Here I want to execute Java programs. My Java program files available on desktop. I want to execute this one. I want to execute from users. See, just a minute. CD desktop. You can't execute now. If you set environment variable path, then you can execute. See, I already set environment variable path. Then you can execute. Suppose Java. It is providing details. Just a minute. I will remove that environment variable path. Just a minute. Properties. Environment variables. See, you don't concentrate on this navigation. In practical chapter, I will show once again. Just delete. CMD. Observe, Ritesh.
Yeah, we got.
Suppose my Java programs available on desktop. I want to execute those programs from desktop. I typed Java command. Java C means Java compiler. It is showing. What it is showing?
It's giving us the error.
Not recognized now. If you want to execute your Java programs, you go to the directory. What is the directory? CD program files. Program files Java. Here you type Java. What is the problem? Just a minute. Just a minute.
Yep.
CD program files Java. Javak. Not recognizing. Okay, in this directory also it is not recognizing.
Sir, program you spell spelling mistake. Program you spelled as a program. Program files.
Just a minute.
Okay.
It is showing the directory available na. Program files. What is the spelling mistakes? Program
Yes,
files only na. Just
we
a
have
minute. Program files Java. It has to. Just a minute. Earlier it showed na CD program files. Program files. CD Java. Javak. Okay, it is not recognizing.
You did CD desktop and then Java, then executed.
No. Desktop, not. No, you try that one.
No, actually, the directory is in desktop when you executed before. I don't know why.
No.
It's not in Java.
No, not required. Observe. What you are asking? CD desktop? No. Observe. See, for any directory path required, observe Ritesh. It is not executing from any directory, isn't it?
Okay.
Environment variable path required. See, you take the path, program files, Java, JDK, bin. You take this path.
Okay.
Properties, environment variables. Here path variable we remove na. Value. Okay. Just a minute. Now observe, refresh. Now observe Ritesh. Now it is executing now.
Yes.
Now you can execute from any directory. Suppose CD desktop. Desktop. Type Javak. Executing. Suppose just C directory. Just C directory. Observe. Javak. Executing. Next. CD program files. Next, Java. Type Javak. Executing. Okay, now, Madhavi.
Okay.
What is the purpose of setting environment variable? To access or use Java software from any directory.
Right, sir.
And one more thing, if you want, just a minute, if you want to access Java software from command line, then you need to set this one. Generally, in our test automation, we use Eclipse. For Eclipse, you no need to set. It can find the Java software and execute. Say, if you want to use Eclipse IDE, you no need to set environment variable path. If you want to execute your Java programs from command line, then set the path. Anyhow, I will show both the scenarios. This is for only executing Java programs from command line. If you want to use Eclipse, no need to set environment variable path. If you set environment variable, no issue. You can access Java programs from command line prompt and from Eclipse IDE also, no issue. Somebody trying to ask me?
No, I was just asking that if we'll remove the path, the command will not at all get executed.
Not at all. From any directory, it is not executing. Say, if you want to execute Java programs from command line, it is mandatory to set environment variable, isn't it?
Yes.
If you want to execute Java programs from Eclipse IDE,
no need.
No need. It is optional. If you set, no issue. If you don't set, it will execute, no issue. Okay, na?
Okay.
Anyhow, this third point is optional for our test automation. Why? We don't run our Java programs from command line in our test automation. We use Eclipse IDE only. So this third step is optional for our test automation. Next, observe last 2 minutes. Download Selenium download Selenium WebDriver. Download Selenium WebDriver. Java language bindings. Java language bindings. See, in practical chapter, I will show bindings. See, suppose if you want to use Perl bindings different, Python bindings different. If you want to use Java, you download Java language binding. Where? From Selenium. How to download and how to add, I will show in practical chapter. Now, only theoretical steps. seleniumhq.org. Download Selenium WebDriver Java languages, Java language. Download Selenium WebDriver Java language binding from seleniumhq.org, and here no installation, and add WebDriver jar files. What is jar files? I will explain later. WebDriver jar files. You can find jar files in extracted folder. WebDriver jar files to Java project. Where? In Eclipse IDE. In Eclipse IDE. Observe this point, Madhumati. Download Selenium WebDriver Java language binding. This is one task. Next, add WebDriver jar files to Java project. Where? In Eclipse. Okay, na?
Yes, sir.
Then you can use Selenium WebDriver. Next, download download and install TestNG testing framework from Eclipse IDE, not from Windows desktop, from Eclipse IDE. In Eclipse IDE, you can find that option. I will show in practical chapter. Download and install TestNG framework from Eclipse IDE. Eclipse IDE. Next, download Mozilla Firefox driver default. You download other drivers if you want to execute tests against different browsers. Download Chrome, IE, etc. browser drivers to execute test cases against, just a minute, against all popular browsers. Okay, this is the brief theoretical steps for Selenium configuration. In practical chapter, I will show each and everything. Just before closing the session, last question for the day. Suleiman, tell me the steps. Suppose we selected Selenium WebDriver, Java programming and TestNG framework. Then how to install or how to configure Selenium? Just tell me the steps. How to configure Selenium?
In order to configure Selenium, we have to download our IDE.
Download Eclipse IDE and extract. Over. Next.
Extract it. Then
download Java software, JDK.
Java JDK.
And install. Over. Next. Set path, environment path variable. This is optional. Next.
Okay.
Download Selenium WebDriver Java language binding from seleniumhq.org website and add WebDriver jar files to Java project in Eclipse. Next, download and install TestNG framework from Eclipse IDE. Next, last one, download browser drivers, Chrome, IE, etc. to execute test cases against all popular browsers. Okay, I'm going to close the session. Any queries, Mamata? Any queries?
No, sir.
Dilpreet?
No, sir.
Madhavi?
No, sir. Thank you.
Madhumati?
Yeah, no, sir. I'm
Mrinal?
good. Thank you.
Welcome. Mrinal?
No, sir.
Ritesh?
No, sir. Thank
Okay,
you.
Saloni?
I'm good, thank you.
Welcome. Supriya?
I'm good, sir. Thank you.
Okay, last one. So, Suleiman?
Thank you. It's good.
Okay, welcome. We will meet tomorrow, same time. Thank you.